So, what is alcoholism? So, I'll freely admit, I don't have the best control on stuff with drinking alcohol, but, I started again after 18 days, longest that I've gone since, October 2024. And so I started looking into, I heard all these stories on Reddit, which is a shithole that you shouldn't go on unless you really want differing opinions. Um, there was a interesting Ask Reddit thread about when alcoholics knew they had a problem. And basically every fucking post was basically like, yeah, dude, I couldn't stop puking or shaking until I had like 5 beers or some shit. I've never been that bad, first off. And I'm not saying that I don't have a problem. But then it made me sort of thinking, like, what is alcoholism? Well, alcoholism is not really a defined medical term. They usually use alcohol use disorder or just healthy guidelines for alcohol. Do you know what the healthy guidelines for alcohol is? One drink, which means one 12-ounce beer, or 1.5 ounce shot for an adult woman, or double that, 2 beers or 3 ounces of liquor. I assume 40 ounce or 40 what do you call it, percent ABV, which is 80 proof. I assume that's the metric they're going off of because they didn't specify, even though these are official health websites, so very helpful. Thank you. Um, 2 shots or 2 beers for an adult male in one night. I don't know a single person. That's when you start to feel a slight buzz. So apparently, basically every single person I've ever met in my entire life is an alcoholic according to these standards. So, I started thinking, I'm like, I do need to drink less. And I think that I did good enough by, going like almost an entire extra week after I discovered I had money. Because if you remember, my initial thing was I just wasn't drinking because I didn't have money. But then it made me rethink a lot of things. I should have been drinking less, yes, but I'm nowhere near the amount of what most people consider an alcoholic, where they literally can't go a couple hours without puking or having horrible shakes or even in extreme cases seizures. I always would go multiple days a week without drinking because I didn't want to either spend that much or drink that much because it made me feel sick. So, really made me rethink things. And it's also very weird that there's not like a real standard medical definition of like I said, they call it alcohol use disorder. It's basically just, if it impairs your daily life. That can mean a lot of things, to be honest. um, but I always made it to work on time when I had a job. Um, if I was like went to a party or whatever and drank the night before, I always like do my college work. So I don't know, man. It's really weird. But then I also know that it's damaging my health. So that like methodology of determining it doesn't even work for that. You know what I mean? And I have decided to cut back, even just for monetary purposes. And it's just weird, You'd think there'd be a standard definition, but when I looked into it deeper and deeper, it's basically that it's unethical or whatever to do studies, like to give an amount of alcohol to somebody, so they just don't do it at all, and it's all just like self-reported shit. So it's like we're basically like fumbling in the dark for what alcoholism even is, which is very strange to me with how long it's been a fucking condition for what, fucking centuries? Since alcohol was invented, I'm sure there was always people that had problems with it. It's very interesting to me, but um, I'm still gonna try and cut back more. And like I said, I did 18 days. The best I did before that was October 2024, which was I think 13 days. And then the best before that was oh boy, like 2022, where I went like 5 months without drinking. So I think I'm doing good. I think what I need to do is just less days and less drinks. So that would be pretty cool, you know. Because my big problem was my acid reflux, and yeah, that was my big problem. So I haven't gotten that back yet, even though I've drank like twice, you know. So if I can keep that down, that'll be really good. And if I can get my freaking driver's license, so I need, you know, can't be hungover, you know.